have certain fundamental beliefs. I believe that God put man on this earth to work. And when I say man, I mean mankind, man and woman. God put man on this earth to work. When a man works, that is where his dignity comes from. When we work, that is where our self-respect comes from. When we work, that is where we teach ourselves self-sufficiency. And when we work, that is where we automatically train the next generation, our children, what is expected of them in adulthood. Shame on our federal government for the last 4 years to pay man not to work. Shame on our federal government that's been paying man in such a way that it denies him his dignity and his self-respect and his self-sufficiency, right? And denies him the ability to properly train his children. Listen, I've been very clear in this campaign that I feel called to deliver a message all over the state to prepare our people to stand alone in a very precarious world. I preach a message of self-sufficiency, self-sufficiency for our families, self-sufficiency for our state. Lieutenant Governor serves on the State Board of Education. Lieutenant Governor serves on the State Board of Community Colleges. If I have the honor and the privilege to be your Lieutenant Governor from those two pedestals, I'm going to do everything possible in my power to restore what I call the basic dignity of the concept of work, which I think we have lost in this state. I want to drive a new generation of people into the trades. I want to remove the stigma that our society has put on men and women who work with their hands. I want to drive them into the trades. I am very upset that for generation after generation now, our school systems, our state has been driving young people into a 4-year college degree where they're coming out many times with a degree in Egyptian poetry, $100,000 in debt, and they can't find a job. All the while, the quickest way, to be your own boss man, to be an entrepreneur, to own your own business, to make 6 figures a year, and to build a business that you could easily, 10 years down the road, sell for 7+ figures, is to work with your hands. So if I'm elected Lieutenant Governor, I'm going to push for a 2 and 2 degree. A new form of degree, a new partnership between the community college system and the 4-year university system in this state, where young people who are going to go to college goes first to a trade school and learn a trade. I don't care if it's commercial welding, plumbing, electrical work, HVAC. Then they transfer to one of their UNC school systems and they get a limited degree. Skip English, skip French. Go into what they want to do with working with their hands, but get a degree in marketing, budget, finance, business. So they have all the tools to be an entrepreneur and run their own business, coupled with the skill set, the trades, that's going to make them profitable the rest of their life, and most important, self-sufficient. I want our people to be self-sufficient. We're never going to do that in this state until we restore the basic concept of the dignity of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want to restore. I want to do the same thing with the state. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Here's how I look at our state, at our country today. I'm a very optimistic person. If you've known me over my career, I've always been an optimist, and I still am. But I have a very dark, foreboding feeling about the direction of our country right now. I really do. I see trains derailing around our country in strategic locations carrying strategic materials that in effect weaponizes the train when it goes off the track. We saw rolling blackouts in the state of North Carolina last year for the first time in our state's history. When did that happen? And we were told by the officials, expect that to happen again. We've seen electrical substations in the center part of our state attacked, and this is interesting, they're attacking the parts that we don't have replacement parts for. Let that sink in. We've seen our U.S. southern border absolute collapse. And now we've seen hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of able-bodied, military-age men, many from countries that want to commit terrorism against the United States, come across our border. And we are naive as a people if we don't think the next governor and lieutenant governor of this state aren't going to have to deal with what will be called homegrown jihadi-based terrorism on our own soil. It's not homegrown at all. It was allowed to walk across our southern border. And we need to prepare as a state. I see China buying our sovereign farmland. And we as a people are smart enough to know if China controls our food, China controls us. And on that day that spy balloon flew over the great state of North Carolina, y'all know that it flew over every one of our military installations. It flew over all of our critical resources. It flew over every nuclear power plant in this state. And we as a people had to sit by impotently and do nothing. That is when you know your state is not prepared for the world that we live in today. Listen, I believe the Bible to be true. And the Bible is very clear. It says a people without a vision, what happens to them? They perish. Here's my question to you. what is the vision of the state of North Carolina today? For that matter, what is the vision of the United States of America today? If you can't answer that, and the Bible be true, then I would state we as a people are currently in a state of perishment as we speak. I'm running for lieutenant governor because I want to help Mark Robinson, the next governor of this state, paint a vision for this state and to see our people through it. And I need your help. God bless y'all for being here tonight. God bless y'all for this victory tonight. And let's go on and win it in November. Thank y'all.